Make your data look professional. Why should you even care about formatting? Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine someone hands you a spreadsheet with numbers everywhere, text crammed into tiny boxes, and everything looking like a jumbled mess. Your brain immediately wants to close that file and pretend you never saw it, right? Good formatting transforms confusing data into something you can actually understand at a glance. It's the difference between a messy handwritten note and a beautifully printed document. What happens when your data looks like a disaster? You open a worksheet and immediately notice that the column headings are chopped in half. You can see words like date and item, but they're cut off because the rows are too short. This happens all the time, especially when you bring data in from other programs or systems. Everything gets squished together and you end up squinting at your screen trying to figure out what anything says. Fixing row heights the quick way. Here's your first magic move. Hover your mouse right over the line that separates two rows. You'll see your cursor change into a little double-headed arrow. Now just double-click. That's it. Excel automatically adjusts the row height to perfectly fit whatever content is inside. This feature is called AutoFit, and it's going to become your best friend. The row expands just enough to show everything without wasting space. Think of it like Excel measuring the tallest thing in that row and saying, okay, I'll make room for that. What if you have multiple messy rows? Sometimes one row isn't the problem. Sometimes you've got 5 or 10 rows all collapsed and looking terrible. No worries. Select all the rows you want to fix by clicking and dragging down the row numbers on the left side. Then head up to the Home tab and find the Format button in the Cells group. Click that drop-down and you'll see an option called Auto Fit Row Height. One click and every single row you selected snaps to the perfect size. It's like hitting a reset button for your layout. Setting an exact row height when you want control. Maybe AutoFit isn't what you need. Maybe you want every row to be exactly the same height for a clean, uniform look. Easy. Select your rows, go to Format, and this time, click Row Height. A little box pops up asking what height you want. Type in a number like 15 and hit OK. Every selected row becomes that exact height. If it looks too big or too small, just undo with Ctrl-Z and try a different number. You're in complete control here. Columns work exactly the same way. Everything we just did with rows works identically for columns. If you see text getting cut off horizontally, hover over the line between two column letters at the top and double-click. Boom. AutoFit kicks in and the column widens to fit your longest piece of text. Want multiple columns to be a specific width? Select them, go to Format, choose Column Width, and type in your number. Setting columns to 20 each, for example, gives you nice wide columns that are all perfectly equal. It's satisfying to look at and makes your data much easier to scan. Now let's talk about the actual data inside. Once your rows and columns are sized properly, turn your attention to what's actually in those cells. Numbers that look like random digits might actually be dates in disguise. Excel stores dates as numbers behind the scenes, so sometimes they show up looking weird. Here's the fast fix. Select all your date cells using Ctrl-Shift-Down arrow to grab everything in that column, then press Ctrl-1. This keyboard shortcut opens the Format Cells dialog box, which is basically the command center for making your data look right. Go to the Date category, pick a format you like, and click OK. Suddenly, those confusing numbers transform into actual readable dates, making money look like money. The same trick works for currency. Select your money values, press Ctrl-1 to open Format Cells, and choose either currency or accounting format. Currency is great for general use. Pick your currency symbol, decide how many decimal places you want, and click OK. Your numbers now have proper formatting with symbols and commas in all the right places. This might seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in how professional your spreadsheet looks. Your data is readable, but is it interesting? At this point, you can see everything clearly. That's a win. But let's be honest, it still looks pretty plain. The column headings blend in with all the other data, and there's nothing guiding your eye to what's important. Let's fix that by making those headers pop. Transforming your column headings. Select your header row and head up to the Home tab. Look for the font group because that's where all the visual magic happens. First, let's change the font itself. The drop-down shows you every font installed on your computer. For headers, you want something that stands out. Arial Black is a nice bold choice that commands attention. Bump up the size too. Going from 11 to 12 points might not sound like much, but it creates just enough visual difference to separate headers from regular data. You can also use the little A buttons with arrows to nudge the size up or down one step at a time. Adding style without going overboard. Since Arial Black is already bold by nature, you don't need to hit the bold button, but italics, that can add a nice touch. Try clicking the italic button and see how it looks. Underlining is another option, but for headers, it often looks like overkill. The goal is to make things look polished, not cluttered. Every formatting choice should serve a purpose. Changing background colors to create contrast. Here's where things get fun. With your headers still selected, find the paint bucket icon with the drop-down arrow. This is your paint color tool. Click the arrow to see a palette of colors. The colors at the top are theme colors, which means they're designed to work well together in whatever color scheme your workbook uses. Pick something that feels right for your data. Don't forget the font color. If you choose a dark background color, your text might disappear because it's also dark. The solution is simple. Right next to the fill color button is the font color button, which looks like a letter A with a colored bar underneath. Click the drop-down and switch your text to white or another light color. Now your dark header with white text create beautiful contrast that immediately draws the eye. This is one of those small details that make spreadsheets look like someone who knows what they're doing created them. Adding borders to define your data. Borders are like picture frames for your cells. They create clear boundaries and make everything look organized. Select all the cells you want to border, including your headers and your data. Find the Borders button in the font group. It looks like a grid of squares. The drop-down gives you lots of options. You can add borders to just the bottom of cells, just the top, all around the outside, or around every single cell, using the Format Cells dialog for better border control. For really precise border work, click More Borders at the bottom of that drop-down. This opens the Format Cells straight to the Border tab. Here you get to pick exactly what you want. First, pick a line style from the options on the left. Thinner lines look cleaner for most situations. Then pick a color. Matching your border color to your header background creates a cohesive look. Finally, use the presets at the top. Outline puts a border around your entire selection. Inside adds borders between every cell. Click both and you get a nice complete grid. The preview window shows you exactly what you're getting before you commit. Seeing the final result. Click OK and watch your data transform. What started as a confusing pile of numbers and text is now a properly formatted table with clear headers, appropriate number formats, and professional borders. It's easier to read, easier to understand, and just nicer to look at. This is the kind of spreadsheet that makes people think you really know your way around Excel.